I'm a bad motherfucker.
Rachel Maddow, Joy Reid, and the whole team of crackerjack journalists over at MSNBC beclown themselves on the night of the Iowa caucuses like they do. None more than the queen of MSNBC, Rachel Maddow, although Joy Reid gave her a run for her money with her white Christians who are voting Trump to get the country back.
Nikki Haley was too brown.
Nikki Haley, the former governor of South Carolina, was too brown to win with Republicans.
Who can't mention slavery.
Yes. The woman who just ducked discussing slavery in the context of the Civil War, too brown for Republicans. So, not to be outdone, MSNBC's Maddow explains why the network will not broadcast Trump's speech in Iowa tonight. Trump won the state's caucus in record time. Yeah, we were still on the air when he won. That is how record time it was. So here's Maddow explaining why a news station is not reporting the most significant news of the day.
At this point in the evening, the projected winner of the Iowa caucuses has just started giving his victory speech. We will keep an eye on that as it happens. We will let you know if there's any news made in that speech, if there's anything noteworthy, something substantive and important. The reason I'm saying this is, of course, there is a reason that we and other news organizations have generally stopped giving an unfiltered live platform to remarks by former President Trump. It is not out of spite. It is not a decision that we relish. It is a decision that we regularly revisit. And honestly, earnestly, it is not an easy decision, but there is a cost to us as a news organization of knowingly broadcasting untrue things.
Yeah, that is like the news report from, the middle of a dystopian sci-fi film. Like it's almost darkly comic to have Rachel Maddow talking about their concern about spreading disinformation. This is the woman who obsessed her poor Kool-Aid drinking brain dead viewers with the theory that Vladimir Putin might shut off the power at any given moment.
Oh, yeah, that was one
Remember that one? That was one of her classic
saw
bits.
the tax returns law. I was watching it the day it aired where she's like, we have the tax return. I could not believe.
Yeah, and she had nothing. All right, so here from Max Blumenthal. The only thing funnier than MSNBC refusing to cover an election winner is Russiagate hoaxer Rachel Maddow condemning the practice of knowingly broadcasting untrue things. So you can't do better than this one. This is one of Maddow's classics. I very often like to pull up the one where she's explaining to her viewers how Texas will probably end up going blue because Hillary's going to win in such a landslide. It's going to bring all the red states with her. To be fair, she was not the only one. But I don't think anyone matched her level of smug assurance because nobody does. I mean, that's her stock in trade.
That's like
smug
a
assurance.
TV preacher level. I'm trying to remember Hagee, Pastor Hagee, that Texas fatso. That's smug. I assure you.
Well, it's similar. It's similar because people watching Maddow and watching this channel in general, it's a religious ritual. It's reaffirming you in your most cherished fairy tale beliefs.
Well, I work at Raytheon. That's why I like it.
And all right, so let's see what she had to say about the jab. I'm sure a lot of you will remember this, but let's take a stroll down jab memory lane.
Now we know that the vaccines work well enough that the virus stops with every vaccinated person. A vaccinated person gets exposed to the virus. The virus does not infect them. The virus cannot then use that person to go anywhere else.
Isn't that dangerous misinformation?
It cannot use a vaccinated person as a host to go get more people. That means the vaccines will get us to the end of this.
Now, that sounds like broadcasting dangerous misinformation to the American public.
Sounds knowing as well.
Yeah.
To drag that out, that's like, Rachel, you got to say this shit right now. And then she just, because how long does it take to say they're so great and they work perfectly? She had to draw it out and find a way to say that in a really long way. That's why she gets the big bucks.
Keaton, anything?
Well, yeah. I mean, look. I mean, that's just that kind of speaks for itself. I think.
Oh, by the
Trump
way,
must
it
really
does slow the spread.
legitimately
I
trigger
hope,
that audience, though.
Hold on. It slows the spread. I hope
It is safe and effective. It's safe and
It
effective.
just doesn't stop it
Oh, sure.
cold.
Oh, Lord, the vaccines are safe and effective.
Well, this is the thing. Like, no one ever thought. Like, people
It's
always
okay if I
assumed
say it
that
in
there
Monty
was
Python
a
voice, right?
danger in understating the efficacy of the vaccine, but
No.
nobody ever thought, isn't there a danger in overstating the efficacy of the vaccine?
Not
What
at
if
all.
a 90-year-old shit lib with a collapsed lung, saw that Rachel Maddow video and said, "Oh, now that I'm vaccinated, I'm good to go to the rager down the hall from me." Like, let's say you are an old, vulnerable person, right? Who
That's a
could
good
die
point.
from COVID,
Right.
and you hear Rachel Maddow say, "If you got the vaccine, you can't get it."
Right.
Well, at that point,
Surprise.
you could, right. Let's say there's, a couple of hot guys down at the bingo hall. It's going to be really crowded, and you take your one lung down there, or, 90-year-old woman, you get it, and you could die, right? I mean, that's plausible.
That's it.
Is that not dangerous in that way?
That's
Like, is it not dangerous to overstate
yeah.
the efficacy of the vaccine?
Right.
It could be.
Right.
Sure. So there you have that. Trump must actually trigger these MSNBC people, though, because there's a difference between, like, okay, it's one thing to hate watch. Like, we all have people who we don't like, who we like to hate watch, right?
Sure.
Russ and I owe much of the success of our show to our hate watchers, right? Half our audience fucking hates us. I'm sure a lot of Jimmy's audience hates him. We love our hate watchers. We love the poorly educated.
It's
right?
called the economy.
I think we're going to get like 6,000 more from Jew Tunnel too.
Right, yeah, probably.
All the people from the Stormfront bake sale, they all wandered over to that video. All of them.
They bake?
What are you going to do? Look,
Most
they
of them
must
died in Ukraine,
actually
dude.
be triggered by him in a way that it goes beyond hate watching, because there must be an incentive to show Trump's speech to an MSNBC audience, right? Because so much of the identity of the core MSNBC demographic is Trump hate. So why not show them Trump being a piece of shit and rile them up, right? That must be good for ratings, unless they are, like, sincerely psychologically triggered by this. They must do some kind of focus group where they know their audience just can't deal with seeing Donald Trump.
They don't
It's gotta be. He has to inflict more trauma on them than just, like, the superficial experience of hate watching someone you don't like. That's the only explanation, because otherwise there would be major incentive for them to broadcast his speech, and then they get to pick it apart. And what's better for a shitlib than to watch Rachel Maddow give the, fact check Donald Trump in real time? You'd think that would make for good TV.
Sure.
So why don't they do it?
Well, because I think for the libs, again, it's like their 10 commandments. Thou shalt not platform the non-believers. So it's this very religious ritual affair watching these shows, and they get that received wisdom, and this is part of the narrative that they've arrived at. You can't platform the non-believers.
Right. They also don't want to watch Biden talk. So the people that are like, I think he did a good job, and you're like, have you watched anything about? No, I don't even want to see it because I know he's good.
Yeah.
There's a the Holy Quran tells us it's foolish to look for more wisdom. Or I don't know if it's a hadith, maybe. It's foolish to look, once you have wisdom, it's foolish to try to look more into it.
Well, it's like drugs. You keep chasing that high you got the first time you heard Biden speak, and it's never as good.
I think they're just so traumatized that they don't. I disagree. I think it's been getting stronger like weed. I think he's been getting way stronger. But they don't even know anything.
It's the Adderall.
Everybody becomes Dottie Sandusky. Remember Jerry Sandusky and Dottie Sandusky thinks he's innocent to this day because she doesn't look in the basement. Dottie doesn't go down there.
Well, that's probably wise. Okay, so this is from Jimmy Fallon. Not to be confused with Jimmy Fallon.
Jimmy Failure.
Failure.
I know Jimmy.
Kind of wish Rachel Maddow had her policy about not airing lies back when she spent 3 years claiming Vladimir Putin controlled America's government. Next thing you know, she'll claim Hunter's laptop is fake and vaccinated people can't get COVID. Oh, wait. All right. So some of those of you who are over here from New Dissidents will know about this. So I actually was able to have an exchange with Rachel Maddow at Temple Emmanuel in New York. Not exactly an exchange. She refused to answer. This was with our friend Jose Vega, who, if you look on X, you can also find his conversation, one-sided conversation with Rachel Maddow. So yeah, well, me and him coordinated this.
Wait, is that Jimmy on stage with her?
No. well, it's her creepily identically addressed friend Ben Stiller there.
That's Ben Stiller?
Yeah, recreating his Zoolander role with his moronic questions. So Jose had already disrupted it, calling her a warmonger.
Okay.
And so I waited until the Q&A. When we coordinated this, Jose was like, yeah, I'm not listening to her read her stupid fucking book. As soon as she starts reading that book, I'm going. So we sat a few rows apart, and I was like, all right. And true to his word, man, as soon as she opened that book and started reading it, Rachel, you're a warmonger.
Oh my God.
She didn't get 2 sentences in. So this is about an hour after Jose did that. I asked her a few questions. Rachel, would you consider Benjamin Netanyahu an authoritarian foreign leader?
Sit down.
Can you please answer that?
We're not here to
Would you consider Netanyahu a dangerous authoritarian foreign leader? Will you answer that?
Look at it.
Will you stand up for the Muslim anchors at MSNBC who have been taken off the air? Will you speak for them? Will you speak up for them? What do you call a country that bombs people in a hospital? Is that fascism? Do you only see fascism when it's wearing a red hat? She did not respond to that.
Hey, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there for more AM Joy and the rest of MSNBC. And click on any of the videos right here to watch the latest interviews and highlights. And you can get more videos from MSNBC for free every day with our newsletter. Just visit